My stepdaughter thought she could cure my deaf daughter by secretly destroying her hearing aids, but her recent experiment got her dragged out of our house. My stepdaughter Becca learned my daughter was deaf the day her father introduced us. 9-year-old Amy showed Becca her hearing aids, explained how they helped her hear birds and music and people's voices. Becca's first response was to yank one out to see if Amy was faking. When Amy started crying and signing frantically, Becca told her father Amy was being dramatic about a little toy. Her father Nathan said Becca was just curious about disability, that it was natural for children to explore differences. The hearing aid was damaged from the yanking. $400 to repair what Becca called an accident. She was 12, old enough to know better. Nathan paid for the repair but told me Amy needed to be less sensitive about her equipment. Said maybe experiencing silence would help her appreciate sound more. I should have left then. Amy adapted to protecting her hearing aids like they were made of glass, wore her hair down to hide them, kept spares locked in my bedroom, never took them out around Becca. Didn't matter. Becca found ways. She'd sneak into Amy's room at night, take one aid while Amy slept, hide it in places Amy couldn't reach, under the house, in the attic, buried in the yard. Amy would wake up half deaf, terrified, searching everywhere while Becca watched cartoons like nothing happened. Nathan said Becca was teaching Amy responsibility about keeping track of belongings. We spent thousands on replacements. I started sleeping in Amy's room, but Becca got creative, pulled them out during hugs, knocked them off during dinner, stepped on them accidentally on purpose. Each pair cost $3,000. Insurance only covered one replacement per year. I took extra shifts to afford new ones while Nathan said I was enabling Amy's carelessness. 4 months ago, Becca discovered she could break the aids into tiny pieces and put them back. Amy would put them in her ears. They'd work for minutes, then fail. We'd find fragments, never understand how they broke so uniformly. Nathan bought Becca's story that Amy was breaking them herself for attention. The audiologist mentioned the breaks were strange, too precise, like someone used tools. Nathan said the audiologist was trying to upsell us better aids. Becca got bolder, started breaking them while Amy wore them. Quick movements during hugs that snapped internal components. Amy started refusing physical contact with anyone, flinched when people moved near her head. Nathan said I was making her paranoid, that Becca was trying to bond with her stepsister through affection. Last week was Amy's appointment for new ear molds. Routine check, happens every 6 months. The audiologist started the examination, then stopped, called me over. There were tiny plastic fragments embedded in Amy's ear canal. Not outside pieces, internal hearing aid components pushed deep inside. Multiple pieces, different colors, from different aids. They'd been there for weeks, some for months. The audiologist asked if Amy had been putting broken pieces in her own ears. Amy started signing frantically that Becca had been fixing her aids at night, that she'd wake up with them already in, working wrong. The audiologist called another specialist. They found fragments in both ears, some dangerously close to her eardrum. One piece had caused an infection Amy hadn't mentioned because she thought it was normal pain. They had to use special tools to extract 17 fragments. The audiologist documented everything with photographs, told me this was deliberate abuse. Someone had been breaking aids and placing sharp pieces in Amy's ears. I drove home in silence while Amy cried. Nathan was in the living room with Becca when we arrived. I told him what they'd found. He started to say Amy must have done it to herself when Becca interrupted. Said she'd been trying to help Amy experience natural hearing by weaning her off the aids. She'd been breaking them gradually, putting pieces back so Amy would learn to function without them. Explained it like she was proud, like she developed some kind of therapy. Nathan's face went from defensive to horrified. Asked Becca to repeat what she'd said. She pulled out a notebook where she'd been tracking her treatment plan. Dates, times, which pieces she'd broken, how long Amy lasted before noticing. Months of documented torture she thought was medical intervention. Nathan grabbed the notebook, read entries about pushing pieces deeper to muffle sounds, about testing pain responses, about how Amy was getting tougher. The latest entry described planning to puncture the eardrum to create real deafness, so Amy would stop pretending she needed help. Nathan called his ex-wife to come get Becca immediately. Didn't wait for her to arrive, packed Becca's things himself, put them on the porch. When his ex arrived, he handed her the notebook and the medical report. Said Becca needed professional help he couldn't provide. Becca screamed about betrayal while being dragged to the car. Nathan filed for divorce himself that night. Said he'd failed to protect Amy and couldn't face us anymore. Left everything. Just drove away. Amy's ears healed, but she still won't let anyone touch her head. The audiologist testified at Becca's juvenile hearing. The judge ordered psychiatric evaluation and placement in a therapeutic boarding school. Amy signed to me last night that she can finally hear silence safely.